Hi friends, this is your pal Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Matt Colville's, James Introcaso's, MCDM's Draw Steel. Pretty big deal. So it's out, it's released. Okay, so let's talk about it. What does it bring to the party? So first, let's say the obvious. It was built to be a D&D killer. It has utterly failed at that, and the reason why is Matt Colville made the mistake. Actually, you know what? James Introcaso made the mistake. I don't think Matt Colville's good at business. I really don't. But he's smart enough to have hired James Introcaso. James Introcaso is a guy that can run a company, right? And so it's on. And Matt Colville, he worked in video games and made some TTRPG content. This guy's not, he's not gonna. Matt Colville is never gonna change the industry. But James Introcaso, he actually is absolutely brilliant and could. And he was hired by Matt, right? And he could have managed up, and he could have said, "We have to get out before CR," right? And they built that Candela Obscura slop, right? Like, so they had time, right? And I think James Introcaso got in and wanted to be comfortable, and he didn't manage up, and it's on James Introcaso that they did not get out in front of Critical Role's Daggerheart, because that killed any possibility they had of building a D&D killer. I think they built a D&D killer, and it didn't matter because nobody would even look at it. I don't think anybody's looking at Draw Steel right now because everybody is looking at Daggerheart that can get Daggerheart, right? And if they're not, and if they can't get Daggerheart, they're not buying Draw Steel. They're just they're stewing in their FOMO. And I think there's a lot of that right now. I think there's a lot of people who are like, oh my gosh, I really wish I had been able to get a hold of Daggerheart and I could have played it. And you can't buy it. Like, it's just, I've been waiting for months for it to show up. I have two FLGSs that are close to me, right? And they are my local, right? I keep saying, I have to say, I bought my Daggerheart in Philadelphia. That's not local to me, right? Like that, I have to drive like 20 miles to get there, right? But I have two FLGSs. They're right near me. They literally, they don't even know, what, oh, actually that's different. Okay, yeah. But like they've never, like, neither one of them have ever seen that thing. It has never sat on their shelves, ever. It has never sat on their shelves. It's astonishing, right? And it's astounding. It's really astounding. By the way, field report, I've heard from multiple sources that you can get this. Guess where? At Second and Charles. That Second and Charles often have this on the shelves, right? Now that's a used bookstore. What? Like that's really odd, like that sells Legos, right? Like, but I've heard, so if you're looking to get it and you're still trying, that's where you can go get it, right? But so it's James Introcaso's fault. But okay, let's get to talking about Draw Steel. All right, so so first of all, Draw Steel, where does it fall? Okay, so I did a great series of videos called The 7 Levels of TTRPGs. That was based on the 7 levels of rappers and the 7 levels of fantasy. You should listen to my video, and you should listen to those other 2 videos. So where does Draw Steel fall? Draw Steel is a level 4 tabletop role-playing game, okay? And that level 4 is hero, okay? So the levels are worse than useless, journeyman, hero, journeyman, hero, champion, legend, goat, right? And so this is level 4. It's a very good role-playing game. Very good role-playing game, okay? But it's 2 levels below Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons is at the legend tier, right? The level 6, legends, right? Legend, right? And so this is a level 4 TTRPG. It's very good. It's a hero level TTRPG, which means that, it's totally okay to buy it. It's totally okay to put this into your 49% play block. If you're out there, you should never be playing any TTRPG more than you play D&D. You should play D&D at the 51% level or higher. But you shouldn't play D&D at more than a 75% level, right? It should be between 51% and 75%. But in your 49% to 25% of other TTRPGs that you're running, right? And why do we run D&D competitors? Because you can't really understand D&D. D&D is defined by its competitors, right? Just like a good hero is defined by their villain, right? Like Batman is defined by his rogues gallery, right? And so we should be playing other, and so this should be in the group of games that you're playing. So what did this thing accomplish, right? So it didn't become a D&D killer. It lost its moment for that. It's never going to be a D&D killer, right? But it did do something significant, and it brought forward all attacks always hit. This is huge. This is an absolutely huge, brilliant idea. So this came from Matt Colville. He put this in, and I'm sure this appeared in other games, but like the reason why it matters that it's being put into this is one of those 3 D&D killer games that are going to be written. This is what I cover here. I cover history. I cover history that happened. I cover history that's happening now, and I'm covering history that will happen in the future, right? And this is a historically important game. It's one of the 3 D&D killer candidates that came out of the 2023, the January 2023 OGL crisis, right? But this thing comes forward and attacks always hit. This is huge, right? Now, why is this important? Well, it's pretty freaking brilliant. It's a very real problem in Dungeons & Dragons. It hurts when you whiff, right? Especially if you're unfortunate enough to have been, sitting around with a dungeon master who learned how to DM from, and this does happen. I got a friend of mine who has 10 people at his table, 10 people at his D&D table. Can you imagine waiting for your turn to come around with 10 players at the table? You get around, right, and you whiff and you do nothing. You miss your attack, and you're like, and your DM's like, shut up, thanks for rolling. You did nothing. You suck. Enjoy 20 minutes of nothing while it tries to get around to your turn again. It's a terrible part of D&D, right? Like missing on an attack really does suck, right? So by doing attacks always hit, it's pretty awesome that this solves this very real D&D problem, and that doesn't exist in Draw Seal. And it's going to be awesome, like when you only roll for damage, right? Which is really freaking amazing. So this is a brilliant part of this game. It's very unique. It's going to make it feel like no other game on the market. It's very real, and it's very awesome. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.